Hello, I'm Nicholas Mizraki, a junior at Taft High School, and I'm here today with Mr. Don Demartini, professional video editor that works at the WTTW, or the Window to the World television station, here in Chicago. Now, Mr. Demartini, would you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been a video editor for approximately 30 plus years. Most of my career has been here at WTTW. I've been at post-production houses before that, cutting commercials for the most part at the post houses, and then moved here and do everything from documentaries to news pieces, long form, short form, promos, just about everything. Very diverse career.
Did you intend to become a video editor from the very beginning, or did you have other plans?
I knew I wanted to go into television production of some sort. As you are experiencing now, we did have a TV department in high school, and I wouldn't say I caught the bug there, but I had a good time. We enjoyed the classes. I took a lot of different classes in high school just to see what I wanted to do. Went off to college and then realized that I couldn't find a career path in college, not economics or business or anything like that. And I remembered the television experience I had in high school, so I decided to pursue that career. So I leaned my college education towards television, but not necessarily production. I was in broadcast law, basic communications, journalism, writing, arts, that type of thing.
So how did you specifically get your foot in the door for this job in WTTW?
Well, I got a job in a local production company just as an assistant to grip or go for whatever, get coffee for clients, that type of thing. And then moved my way up to assistant editor. So I would ingest all the material, prepare it for the editor the next day, if we had, get everything ready for his session, organize the project, and then the editor would step in and work with the client. So as I learned that skill, I decided I wanted to move up into actual editing. So did that for about 2 years, and literally just heard about job opening at WTTW and put a resume in. Didn't have a resume reel at the time. They didn't even ask for one. They just went by references and work experience and took a chance on me, and I've been here ever since.
Could you give us a brief run-through of your activities in an average workday from the time you get to work until you leave?
Well, it depends on the project for the day. If I'm on a long-form documentary project, I know that I'm going to come in and just continue on with it. There are days when I don't have that type of project, and it's just basically a promo session, or I'm cutting a news piece for Chicago Tonight. So it depends on the project of the day. You're going to come in and sit in an edit suite. That's a given. That's what I do. It just depends on what the activity is in the daytime. It's just come in, organize yourself, open your project, get yourself set with the mindset of what you're going to do. If it's a long-form project, I'll go back and review the last 20 minutes of what was cut, and so I know what I'm picking up to continue with. So the project has some sort of continuity.
What sort of video editing programs or software do you use?
Here we primarily use Avid Media Composer. In the past we've had Grass Valley Systems. There's Grass Valley Edius. I think it's called Aurora Craft now. Avid used to have a product called the DS. And what else? Then there was, before we went into all non-linear, there was CMX linear programs. Also a little bit versed in Final Cut Pro also.
How about Adobe Premiere?
Have opened it. We don't have it here, and I haven't become familiar with it yet. Some of my
we
fellow,
use it at our station.
That is the up-and-coming software right now. I think I would go with that if it weren't for Avid.
How would you say your job as a video editor impacted your personal life? Do you find the routine of work consistently strenuous, or is it a form of daily pleasure that you would never give up?
I'd say it's a form of daily pleasure. There is stress in the job. If you're in the commercial world, or even in the documentary world, there's deadlines. And you might not make it home for dinner. You might be here till the sun comes up the next morning. So it does affect personal life. You have to be prepared for that. But if you're independent and working on your own, you can set your own schedule, depending on deadlines.
What characteristics do you think a person needs in order to succeed in this job?
Calm under pressure. If there's a deadline looming. You have to remain focused and just keep plugging away at it. You have to work with a lot of different personalities. You're in a creative field, and creative people sometimes think outside the box. They could be high-stressed, high-strung, they could be laid back, they could let you work on your own, or they could be hovering over you at the same time. You just have to be prepared for a lot of different personalities, which is probably true in most businesses.
What would you say? Would you say most video editors stick with the editing, or do they use the experience here as a stepping stone to eventually go on to other areas such as filmmaking?
In my experience, most editors remain editors. They will work on this. Some of my associates have gone on to produce documentaries and not necessarily filmmaking, but they usually work with someone else, a producer type, to put something like that together. But in my experience, an editor is always an editor.
What do you think the future of video editing will look like? And what direction do you think that video editing will be going towards in the future?
Well, editing has pretty much been basically the same in all my career. It's the tools that are available to you to tell the story. There are different, we call them bells and whistles, different effects that software engineers write. But basically, it's shot ordering, shot selection, and storytelling. From the beginning, it's basically, can you tell a story, or are you just here for flash to just put a bunch of shots together? I see the future just an evolution of the tools that we're using.
The same concept, just with new tools.
Correct, and different styles. In years past, it used to be slower cutting. In the film days, or even in the early videotape days, the medium was expensive. Film was expensive.
In the Hollywood era, early Hollywood era.
Right. It was, yes, so you didn't have a lot of footage to work with. Now, with the proliferation of file-based systems, you can record hundreds of hours of material and assemble it into your 1-hour program, 15-minute program, whatever. So you just have to be able to weed through all that.
Lastly, what advice could you give someone that desires to follow in your footsteps? Or, in other words, if a man wants to become a professional video editor someday, how should he best prepare himself for the future?
Observe everyone. Watch with a critical eye. When you're watching, I try not to do this when at home watching television. I try to relax and enjoy. But sometimes you just have to critique all the time. Get advice from everyone, network. Just be a sponge. Try and absorb everything you can from everyone around you.
Or listening and observing, then just...
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how I did it. I watched, as I said earlier, when I was an assistant editor, I watched the editor work every day. And when he was ready to move on, quit, move to another location, I was ready to step in without pushing myself.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Demartini.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
And thank you for watching.